button. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Kristen Waringa, National Executive Director with Pampered Chef from Seattle, Washington. And I'm so excited for our event today. Let us know in the chat where you're joining us from, city, state, whatever you would like to share. And today you are going to hear more about Pampered Chef from 4 of us, and we'll have a time for questions at the end. So you'll hear from myself, April Schilling, Dee Weir, and Ashley Vollmer, and we're going to share a little bit more about our experience with Pampered Chef with you. And like I said, you can write down some questions and ask them at the end, or you can throw them in the chat while we are sharing, and then we can get to those at the end. So I am going to go ahead and let April kick us off first and tell us a little bit more about her experience with Pampered Chef and why she joined. Go ahead, April.
Thank you so much, Kristen. I am April Schilling, and I am joining you from lovely St. Clair Shores, Michigan. And it's very ironic because I started my business almost 24 years ago right now. And I attended a cooking show, and just something the consultant said about how you could earn just a few extra $100 a month really spoke to me, because I had 2 small children at home. One was 1 and one was 5, and they were just starting to get involved in activities like soccer and softball and gymnastics and swimming classes. And a few extra $100 in our budget could really make a big difference. And it actually could make the difference between me being able to stay at home with my children or going back to work. And I went home. I said to my husband, do you think I can do this? And my husband's like, well, absolutely. I think you can do this, but what do you have to lose? So I took the plunge, and it has been an amazing journey where I have earned trips, and I lead a national executive director team where I get to help others reach their goals and dreams. And it's just a few extra $100, even today, 24 years later, can make a huge impact on your family's budget, especially as we head into summer, where I think all the impulsive things come about, like, do you want to grab ice cream, or can we go to a water park? Or what fun things can we do? You don't want to be stressing if that your family budget allows for you to do those things. You want to know you've got some extra money. So if you're out there watching this, I encourage you to just go for it. For $25, you can start your own Pampered Chef business and have a stress-free summer to enjoy with your family, doing all the fun things that summer has to offer.
All right. Thank you, April. So I am Ashley Vollmer from Wisconsin, National Executive Director, and I've been with Pampered Chef for 9 years. When I first started Pampered Chef, it was truly because I wanted the kit for free. I wanted all the products. We had recently gotten married. I am married to an amazing man who I actually met on a train to Frankfurt, Germany. So fun fact there. But I wanted the knife block set, and I wanted the cookware for free because we just got married. So I grabbed the kit. And at that time, I was working in corporate America for an insurance company. We had, at that time when I started Pampered Chef, 1 little at home. And I was missing out on so many of her firsts, not being able to take her to school, pick her up from school, not being able to go on her field trips. And it was really tugging at my heart. How many of you guys have littles at home? It is something you don't get back. And I really wanted to be that mom that lived life with my kids. And so I gave Pampered Chef a try. And in my first 2 parties, they were in-home parties at the time, I made more doing those 2 parties in 6 hours than I did in 2 weeks at my full-time salary job. So I thought to myself, gosh, if I could do this, what could the potential be of this business? And so fast forward now to 2023, we have 4 children now. And 1 on the way. So we have a 12-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 1-year-old, and like I said, 1 on the way due in August. And I am so blessed that I have been able to live life with the kids. And in fact, today was our 4-year-old's last day of 3K. So I picked her up from school and we went to the park and had a picnic and got to enjoy that time together on a special mommy-daughter date. And so I really want to encourage you guys to think about, is there something missing from your life right now? Could it be community with other like-minded women and men? Could it be needing that couple extra $100 like April shared? Or could it be something you don't even know you need right now? And for $25, you guys, you have absolutely nothing to lose. Now, I want to share one other part of my story with you. When I was working in corporate America and shortly after I left my job, I was doing Pampered Chef full time. My husband went back to grad school. And so Pampered Chef supported our entire family. And we had not a lot of anything. Okay. My husband went to school for 5 years. I went to school for 3 years. He studied abroad twice. I studied abroad once, and we didn't have any help for paying for our education. So you can imagine how much student loan debt we had. And at that time, we lived on a very tight grocery budget. In fact, we lived on $20 a week. We bought green beans, cottage cheese, tuna, and chicken if it was on sale. And that was about it, so that we could live a life to have more later and to give back to our community. And so now, today, Pampered Chef has given us so much more than I could have ever imagined. And it's my biggest joy to give back to all of you and so many other people, because there's nothing greater than helping other people succeed and have a greater life than they think right now today. So if this is tugging on your heart and you're hearing something, or your consultants reached out to you this month, now is your time. There has never been a better time to be a part of Pampered Chef. And you too can live a life that you've planned to live. All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks, Ashley. I'm Dee Weir, National Executive Director from Greensburg, Pennsylvania. And 22 years ago, I really wanted to quit my full-time job of 13 years. I was working 50 to 60 hours a week with a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old at home. And it took me 10 years to have those little ones. And I thought to myself, what am I doing? It took so long to have them, and now I'm not going to be here to watch them grow. And so I really wanted to be that stay-at-home mom, but I knew I couldn't just quit my job without supplementing my income. Then I got invited to my babysitter's Pampered Chef party. And the entire night, she was poking me in the leg, saying, you could do this. You should try this. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, does she really think I can do this? Or does she just not want to watch my voice anymore? So by the end of the night, I thought, I just got to do this. And I went home and I told my husband that I was quitting my job and I was going to sell Pampered Chef. And I thought, oh my goodness, we're going to have to call the paramedics. He's like, no, you can't do this. You can't make money doing this. You can't talk in front of people. What are you doing? And I promised him, I said, if things don't work out, I will find something else. Well, here it is, 22 years later. I still love what I do. And it has been one of the best decisions I've ever made. Now, I don't recommend you just quit your job and jump into Pampered Chef, but you definitely can do this alongside your job and see if it is a fit for you. Thanks to Pampered Chef, I was able to do more than supplement my income. I was able to take my boys on trips all around the world on the trips that we earned. I have the flexibility to run my business, how, when, and where I want to run it. I get to help others start their own business, help host, earn free and discounted products, and so much more. This business has truly been a blessing for me and my family, and I know it could bless you as well. You have nothing to lose by giving it a try. I'm so glad I said yes to the apron, and I know you can too.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much, Dee. So a little bit about me. I started Pampered Chef because I honestly wanted to fill my kitchen for free with Pampered Chef products. I did not have a single Pampered Chef item in my kitchen before I joined. but my best friend, actually also my babysitter, Dee, I didn't even realize this, but she watched my daughter for me, and she was a Pampered Chef consultant, and she came over, she was like nudging me to do a party. So I did a fajitas and Ritas party. How many of you guys here have done or been to a cooking show? The ones on the call, they're in the chat. Yes. Okay. So she came over and she stood in front of all of us, and she was like slicing peppers with one of the mandolin things we had at the time. And I earmarked so many things in the catalog that I wanted, but there was no way I could afford to buy all of it. And so I wanted to replace my kitchen for free with Pampered Chef stuff. And that is why I joined without even really having any experience with the product. I didn't tell my husband because I was the epitome of too busy, and he probably would have thought I was psycho to add something else to my plate. So I worked full time. I worked from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. I rushed home, made dinner in like an hour, and then ran off to my second job where I taught fitness classes at night. And I taught fitness classes like 4 nights a week and on Saturday mornings. So when was I going to have time to fit Pampered Chef in? And I found a way to fit it into the nooks and crannies. And that's one of the beautiful things with Pampered Chef, is that it really can fit in the little pockets of time that you have. Like when I was sitting in my car waiting to pick up a prescription, and all these other, little things throughout, or at a sporting event, and I'm just sitting there waiting for something. There's so many minutes in a day that we just sit and wait, right? So I was able to fit it into the nooks and crannies and around everything else going on in life. And at that point, we were like kind of penny pinching because we were trying to pay off our student loans. We were trying to pay off our car loans. We had a mortgage and all this stuff. And so we followed Dave Ramsey's principles. And this was a way for me to earn extra income through like a side hustle. And that's something that he recommends and talks about to be able to snowball your debt. And so we used my Pampered Chef income to pay for those extra things, and put like our car loans, my student loans, and put all the extra that I made to pay those things off faster. How many of you guys would like to be able to pay off some of your debts a little bit faster? Be able to make double or triple payments. And that was our goal. And so then fast forward a little while later, and I was making even more with my business. And I thought, I love my job, but I am feeling underpaid and undervalued, and I'm a really hard worker. And I would show up, I would put long hours in, I'd work through my lunch breaks. And I felt like I was not fully recognized for the effort I was putting in. I feel like I could have made more. And so I would apply for positions to get a promotion. And the industry that I worked in was parks and recreation. And a lot of the rooms that I would be in, I'd go into meetings and I'd be the only female in the room. I'd be surrounded by men, which is fine. It's a male dominated industry, and I loved being able to represent. But when I'd go in to interview for positions, I would not get the position, and I would look and be curious at who ended up getting the positions. And a lot of them were men. And I like nothing against that at all, but I was feeling very undervalued as a woman in a male dominated industry. And so I thought, you know what, like Pampered Chef empowers women. It was founded by a woman, and there's no ceiling to what I can earn. And I don't have to ask for a raise. I don't have to interview for a promotion. If I want it and I work for it, I will get it. And so that really inspired me to do more and not have to have my hands tied up against someone else's decision on if I was going to make more or if I was going to get a promotion. So I ended up really putting time and energy into my business, and it paid off, and it paid full-time income to the point where I was able to replace my day job. And now I 100% work Pampered Chef. But I want you guys to know that like you could do this as a side hustle even when you're super busy, and it doesn't have to turn into something bigger than that. Like you are hearing from 4 of us who have really turned this into something larger, but there are so many on our team that work full-time jobs, or maybe they aspire to quit their job. Maybe they aspire, they don't want to quit their job. And that's the beautiful thing about it, is that it can be whatever you want it to be. So we wanted to make sure that we had time at the end for questions. So if you have a specific question, or maybe you're wondering if, is this a good fit for me? Like, can I do this? Feel free to put in the chat or unmute as well, and we can help you navigate whether this could be something that could be a good fit for you. Does anyone have any questions that they would like to unmute? I know I had a couple questions, so I'm going to ask my fellow speakers while you guys are putting questions in the chat, if you have any, what their answers are to this. So I don't know who wants to answer this one, but what are the different ways to party? Do people have to do cooking shows? If you just do virtual parties, are you on your phone all the time? Could someone speak a little bit to like the different ways to party?
Yeah, I'll take this one. So we do have several different ways to party, whether it's in person. There's lots of people getting back to those and loving doing in-person parties, virtual parties, which can be done on Facebook, on our own Pampered Chef platform called Table. They can be done through texting, through Messenger. There's a lot of different ways to have a party, and a lot of consultants are also using social media for sharing products and recipes and those types of things as well. And all of that counts as sales. One of the things I did not know about virtual parties prior to even giving them a try is that all of the posts that are in virtual parties on Facebook and even in our own Pampered Chefs platform Table are all pre-scheduled. Okay. So you're not on your phone all the time. You're not behind your computer all the time. It takes a few clicks to set up the whole week of party, or the party for the whole week. And then it's just engaging. And that's the fun part. You get to meet the guests, you get to engage with the host. And so a virtual party from start to finish, I usually tell people takes about, 1 hour or so of your time. In-person party on average could take, 2, maybe 3 hours from the time you leave your house to coming home. And you can make some really great income with just, one party. So imagine adding multiple parties to your schedule, what that could do as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Ashley, so much. Next question from Cindy. How do you overcome the stigma you hear back that it's overdone, or like, if folks are tired of hearing about it and they don't respond back? Who wants to take that one?
I'll take this, Kristen. I think one of the reasons that Pampered Chef differs, although I love jewelry, I love makeup, I love bags, Pampered Chef differs because it fulfills a basic human need. Everyone eats and everyone has a kitchen. And you think about all the college graduates and all the new brides that have the brand recognition and used Pampered Chef in their mother and father's kitchen that want those same quality products in their kitchen. And I just think that we will always be on trend. Look at the cooking shows. Look at how people have dietary restrictions and they have special needs in the kitchen. We're always going to be relevant because we fulfill that basic human need.
Yeah, that's so good and so true. And I'll add too, like, I think the key here is helping them see the value and how we can help people. And so that's part of the mission of Pampered Chef, is bringing people around the meal, like around mealtime together, around the kitchen table together. And so when they see the value of what we can do for them and how this can help them, then it's like, oh, there is a need here. This is something that will help me. And that's the beautiful thing that we provide as consultants, and your director and your team can help you with that and understand, how do I show that I have something of value to offer that is going to help others and be of service to others. And that's how I often like to, kind of look at it. Okay, good question here. Polly asks, how many hours do you put in a week for full-time income with Pampered Chef? Who wants to take that one?
I'll go ahead and take that one, Kristen. So it really is going to depend on, what you consider full-time income. But on average, a consultant will be making about $100 or more per party. So if you did 4 parties a week, you're going to be averaging about $1,200 to $2,000 a month doing that. And it's probably going to take you 2 to 3 hours a week, maybe 4, just depending on how fast you learn technology. So it's really, you know, up to you as how much you want to make and how many parties you want to do. You can do more than 4 parties a week. You can do as many or as little as you want, and then just based on the income that you want to earn. So as Kristen had said in her story, there's no glass ceiling. So you can make as much as or as little as you want, depending on how many hours you want to work.
I love it. So true. And the next question here is how to get people to host parties. I'm happy to take that one. So it starts out with your friends list and your kind of circle of people that you know. And we encourage you to ask your friends and your community to support you to get started by hosting a party. And it really just takes a couple of them to say yes to hosting. And then they host parties and they invite all of their friends to join the party and their community, you know, their Christmas list of people they mail stuff to, their Facebook friends list. Like, it really opens the door to all of their contacts and their community. And then from that party, the goal is to book 2 to 3 parties. And so if you start with 4 parties from your social circle, and then you book 2 parties from every single one of these, 2, 4, 6, 8, now you have 8 parties from those. And those 8 parties, and you would have 16 parties. And from those, then you would have 32 parties. So it really just starts with a core group of people that would say yes to hosting a party for you, and then having your director, your team, and Pampered Chef's resources to share with you how to book parties from those parties into all of those new social circles. So that's really key to expand. And I'll tell you, I did another direct sales company before Pampered Chef, and it was not a party plan model, where this is like a party plan model, and home office, like our corporate office, pays for the host rewards for us. We don't have to pay for that. We don't have to carry inventory. That's a really common question. And so because I had experience with a company that was not a party plan model, it was very hard for me to gain new customers and continue to have sales coming in. And I found that with Pampered Chef, with the party model, because it was introducing me to so many new people, that it really helped me keep the business going. But I will say, it will take going out of your comfort zone to talk with people that you don't know, because they're not just going to come to you like all like lined up and say, I'm going to host a party for you. I mean, some will do that. But the people that have the most success in this business are the ones who are willing to go outside their comfort zone and try new things and talk with people that they don't know. And I'm an introvert, and I don't talk with random people I don't know generally, especially out and about. I do not talk with random strangers. But with virtual parties, it's a little bit easier, especially if you're a little bit more introverted. So any other questions? Or Ashley, D, April, do you guys have anything you want to add from like concerns you had when you first started, or a common question that you might get?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
No worries. I thought I would share a couple other things really quick as we wrap up. So I wanted to share why right now is a really good time to join Pampered Chef. And there's a couple reasons why. The first one is that right now in the month of May, we have a special, and we don't always have specials. So I would definitely recommend taking advantage of this, and it ends tomorrow. So make sure you connect with the person that invited you to our event today and get their proper link to be able to order a kit with them, because they will help support you and provide resources for you and things. But you can start for as little as $25 this month. And if you're a current host, you can use some of your host benefits to get a kit for free. So definitely make sure you talk with your consultant about that. But this special is incredible. We very rarely have this low of a startup cost. So it's perfect to get going right as summer is starting. There's 3 different kits you can choose from. There's the $25 startup kit, there's a $50 stoneware bundle, and then the $100 cast iron bundle. So definitely take a look at those. The other reason, well, actually there's 2 more reasons why it's a good time to start. One is we are getting ready to launch new products. We are launching summer products on June 1st, and it is the best time to join a company right before they launch new products, because then you have all of that momentum of a new product, like the excitement, and I have these new products to showcase. Someone asked earlier, right, about how to get people interested. New products can definitely spice things up for people who have already seen some of the products before. So that's another really good reason to join right now. And the last reason, I mean, there's many more, but the main one I wanted to highlight for why to join right now is because you also have the opportunity to earn extra products that we don't normally have for new consultants. So you can earn a set of products plus these bonus ones on the screen here. So you can earn the deluxe stand mixer and pouring shield. That is like our version of the KitchenAid, but like on steroids. Like it is amazing. You can earn that completely for free. Plus, you can earn the new summer products that I mentioned are launching June 1st. You can earn all of those completely for free as well. So you have product that you can showcase in addition to what comes in the kit. So it's a really good time to join now while we have these amazing specials and these bonuses that you can get. And the last thing I just wanted to mention is that definitely make sure to reach out to your recruiter that invited you today. They have a special link for you to join with. And thank you, Cindy, for that question. This is a really good one. She asks, how do you overcome the economy issues we're having right now? Seems like people aren't spending money like they used to, or is it just me? I'm glad you asked that. Does anybody, I'm happy to answer that, but maybe one of our other NEDs would like to answer that one. Oh, Ashley, you're muted.
Thanks, girl. Yeah, I'll go ahead and take this one. Actually, it's one of my favorite questions because you're right. It can be a very hard time right now, right? The cost of groceries are going up, the cost of gas, inflation, right? And people are considering what they're going to be spending their money on. And I have to tell you, a lot like what I think it may have been Dee or Kristen shared, how everyone has to eat, and everyone has to be in the kitchen at some point, right? In a time like this where the economy is feeling that, extra stress of the rising costs, the first thing that people are cutting is going out to eat, right? Like the fast food drive-throughs and going out to dinner, those quick meals like that. And people are cooking more at home. And in fact, I think there was one statistic that was shared recently. And this was actually shared back during COVID and shared again. And the stat has still remained fairly similar. And it's about 96% of homes are cooking at home more than they were prior to the pandemic and even now. And so being a part of a company like Pampered Chef, you guys, has always flourished during times like this, 2008, 2020, right now, because people are looking for those fast and easy meals at home that are healthy, that are convenient, where they can save money going through the drive-through. If you think about a family of 4, just going through like McDonald's, or if you guys have Culver's or one of the fast food restaurants, it's a good $50, right? And you multiply that by, maybe twice a week or 3 times a week if the kids are in sports, or it's, going out to brunch on the weekend, whatever it might be. Those $100 add up really quickly, where someone who might want to host a Pampered Chef party can get the, let's say the deluxe multi-cooker. It's like our pressure cooker, right? for 60% off as a host or 50% off as a host. And now they have a vessel that they can make meals in that cost under $5 a serving. Okay, so Pampered Chef really is so thoughtful and right on when it comes to watching the market and the economy and what people really need right now, that this is probably one of the best times to start, given that concern, because you're going to be able to, you know, be a part of so much growth and exciting things that are going on in Pampered Chef during this time in the economy. So hopefully that's helpful for you. It's a great question.
Definitely. Okay, one last thing I want to touch on, and then we'll wrap up for today. I saw the question about the June specials in the chat. So we do not know all of the specials available ahead of time. We know our host specials, we know our guest specials, but we do not know if there are any additional specials with regard to joining. There are not always a special every single month, and like the bonus products you can earn, we don't really know if any of those things will continue or if there will be a different one. So my advice is, if you are thinking about joining, you definitely want to take advantage of the kit specials we have that are good through tomorrow, and the bonus to earn the summer products, which expires tomorrow as well. So if you're talking about host or guest specials, we know those, but we don't know if there will be any sort of specials beyond May for new consultants joining. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. And a big thank you to Ashley, Dee, and April for being here with us. And we encourage you, chat with your recruiter. And thank you for joining us today. We hope we can welcome you to the Pampered Chef family. All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone, for joining.